Greetings, everyone.
One night and
Just a little bit. My name is Wesahana Pearson, reporting for Black Asia Magazine. And I'm talking to a very old friend of mine and my former roommate. His name is, can you tell us your name for the site?
Innocent from Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I remember is that your last name starts with the prefix Mu. And Mu is typical for Shona people. Or
Yeah.
It's like a Dutch person would say Van in front of
Yeah,
the name.
yeah, it's a-
Irish person would say, oh, Mu is for like Shona.
Yeah, it's typical for Shona language. It's I don't know how to explain it in English, but
It's like it signifies the ethnic group you come from or something like that.
I cannot say it signifies, but it's I know the surname itself. It's sort of it does tell which group you come from. It can tell that you're from ethnically this particular group. But again, it's also shared among Bantu languages within the Southern African region. But the other thing, it also tries to tell the behavior. It's loaded. It's loaded with not only the ethnic group, also the totem that you associate with.
Okay, has a lot of different connotations.
Yeah.
So right now we're in Hong Kong. We're in an area called Chungking Mansion, and this area there are a lot of shops. Well, the people who come here are usually backpackers, tourists. A lot of shops owned by people from India, from Pakistan, Nigerians, Ghanaians, Cameroonians, different parts of Africa.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about the area that we're in right now?
Well, the Chungking Mansion was built in the early 1960s. It was actually built as a luxury, sort of luxurious apartments, for rich Chinese people. But it has evolved. It has changed from being luxury apartments, to the time when the hippies from the US were coming here to occupy the place, and then it picks up in negative connotations.
Right.
But later on, it became occupied by people from so-called third world, South Asia, and mostly in Africa. And it's a home. It's a home for many people. It's one unique place. Perhaps some people say the only place that makes Hong Kong different from any city in China.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you moved here directly from Zimbabwe, is that right?
I was Zimbabwe, South Africa, and then South Africa, Hong Kong.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
from South Africa. Yeah, I was teaching in South Africa.
Okay, all right. And how long have you been in Hong Kong?
It's for 5 years now. 5 years in Hong Kong. That's 2013 I came here. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
5 years in Hong Kong.
How do you feel as a black man living in Hong Kong?
Well, for me, it's generally, I think I don't represent a number of people, because I've in the past I've sort of accumulated certain privileges which gets me treated a bit more differently. But I'm always, of course, faced with curious eyes, and I also feel like I'm not only living for myself. I mean, whatever I do in public, I know it's gonna be projected on everyone.
It's a reflection of
Of
like
so I have to be conscious.
a lot of people have to remember that.
Yeah,
some
I have
people
to
forget
be.
that.
Yeah, I have to be always conscious of that. I can't fully just be whatever I have to realize that if I fuck up, that's gonna affect everyone else. Yeah. So that's usually, I think that's sort of the pressure that I usually have to bear. I have to bear that pressure. Of course, I don't think it's a beautiful pressure to bear, so I try my best to rebrand. I think one of my things that I've been focusing on, is sort of rebranding this black or African image in the eyes of East Asians, especially because this is where I am, and trying to people see differently that which is also a critical moment, because now it's in East Asia. This is kind of like the future. The economies are growing, are booming this side, and if you are not careful, they're gonna import the images that are usually reproduced in the Western world of what black means, what African mean. So I'm trying to counter that. So I'm trying to take control of the narrative here, and then counter those narratives from the Western, so that those cannot be imported into China, cannot be imported to here, cannot be imported to Korea.
So even if they are imported, you present something that can counterbalance.
That can counterbalance. But I'm gonna do very well. Like right now, I also help edit articles for newspapers. Before they publish an article, I have to they, you know, right, I have to establish as a legitimate person that they can send to. Like, let me check that. You know, I'm helping them to edit content. You know, facts, but you know, I'm also trying to make sure the image of the black man when it comes to the Asians, it's not what they have in the Western world. So it's a critical moment.
Okay.
If we don't catch it now, I don't think it's probably a very short window to, you know, if we miss it now, if we let the images that have been in Europe come here, then it's gonna be, we're gonna be fighting for dignity for the entire, I don't know, centuries.
Into the next few centuries, definitely.
Next few centuries. So we have to capture this moment.
Okay, all right. It reminds me of something I talked with another interview subject. For our story to be told correctly, we have to tell it ourselves.
Yes, definitely. We have to be part of the people telling the story. We're not just gonna sit on the sidelines and let anybody just do whatever they want with our stories. So it's our duty to tell it, and it's also wrong for some people to exploit those stereotypes. You know, like there are certain stereotypes which are negative, but some people who are African or black, they might find it as a way to make money. You know, like, you can make money from these stereotypes. But, you know, it might be through whatever. You know,
images in the media.
But like, no, that's not right. I think it's a chance for us to prioritize dignity over profit. You know, you can say, no, guys, even if I'm not gonna make money, let me make music. Let me make a film. Let me make something that, you know, preserve dignity for our people. So that's some of the things that I know. That's we have to watch. Some of the things we need to do.
Okay, all right. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
We're friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
And when I was looking at your Facebook page, I saw like a project or a promotion that you were involved in, and the headline, the tagline was "Dark skin is not a crime."
Yeah.
Tell me what that means, and where did that whole idea? What was the genesis of that idea?
Well, you know, darkness is criminalized in many places. You know.
How about here? How is the perception of it?
It's definitely the same. I mean, you know, it's definitely the same. It's not as prevalent, you know, as in most of the Western world, where, you know, if you're dark, you might get shot just like that, right? But here, you know, there is still some, you know, it's a mixture of criminalization and curiosity. So, like, I'm curious, but I'm not really sure. So that's why I say it's a critical moment that we have to sort of, you know, so being criminalized. So we decided, like, you know, my friend and I mean, I was talking to one friend. I mean, she's a model. She's a black model. She's from Congo.
Oh yeah, okay.
And you know, she's facing a lot of, you know, discrimination within the modeling industry, where, you know, if you're white with no talent, you can just be taken. You know, like, oh yeah, come in, you know, you become a model. But if you're black, no matter how much talented you are, you're pretty good at walking, pretty good, amazing attitude.
They can't see you as a beautiful person.
Yes, and that's some of the things we're trying to challenge. So that is
wait, do you think that they're just like, because some people are just beautiful no matter where you put them, and do you think that to negate someone who's naturally beautiful, say no, you're ugly, is it really that they see the person as ugly, or they're just trying to aspire to a certain standards and they're blocking it out, they're totally rejecting?
Well, it's a mixture. Both the people who are making this, who are choosing these models, are people who are interested in profit. And they are trying to, again, exploit stereotypes and stereotypes that the larger populace have, to say, oh, you know, if I'm gonna bring a white model and put a dress on them, take the picture, people can buy, right? Especially within the East Asia, right?
Yeah. A black model would take some getting used to.
Yeah. So they're not willing. Most of these guys actually know that this is wrong. It's not like these are ignorant people within these companies. These are really people who know exactly that they shouldn't be doing that. But they're like, you know what? I want to make money.
The easiest way to make a profit, turn profit, is by doing what works.
That's how they say. They say my clients. It's the same thing with the teaching of English, you know, in schools, right?
Yeah, which I had
I'm not going to be hiring
myself.
a black person because I have my clients, the parents of the kids.
Yeah.
So I think we need people who can challenge that instead of exploiting it. And that's why if I'm white, surely I will be challenging that. Whenever I'm given a job because I'm white and the other guy is not given a job, or somebody's paid less because they are black and I'm paid, but they're probably more qualified. If a more qualified person, if I'm white, I'll challenge that. I'll say, you know what, I'm not gonna take this kind of job, and I'm gonna confront that. But a lot of my white friends, they don't. Get money.
They don't say anything.
They don't say anything. They just go and they just, you know. And I'm like, this is your chance. This is your opportunity to challenge this. So these are some of the things that I encounter with people. The same with the modeling industry. Most of the people who are picking designers, who are picking models, they know it's not right. Some of them even had studied in the UK, some even studied in the US. They have been involved in identity politics, in racial discussion on race. They know it's not right, but they want to make money. So I think it's time people, put profit lower.
Okay. Okay. All right. You just told me about the larger project that you're doing, which is the Africa Center.
Yeah.
It's something you have a passion for. Can you go into that at all and tell me what that's about? Where that comes
Yeah,
from?
I mean the Africa Center, it was born out of.
So where is it? It's in Hong Kong. Where? How
Yeah,
can I get
it's
up?
actually across the street. We have some office across the street here.
From Chungking Mansion.
Yeah,
Okay.
across the street in Chongqing Mansions.
Okay.
I mean, the idea was born from, realizing more interest on Africa generally, especially with China, and trying to build a good image, and they have been going through Africa to try to gain that soft power and good image. And there have been a lot of people within China and here and almost around, at least within this region, that are interested in Africa, but they don't know where to go. They go on the internet, they go anywhere, they find really, really terrible stuff. And then on the other hand, the Africans,
Terrible stuff like killing fields.
bad images, and this is what they can find, right? Despite most of the China media has been trying to project positive images, but it takes time. It takes time because there is people who are legitimate sources which can be found from the Western media, which have really, really probably need to do a lot of cleanup on what's on the internet. So we realized, okay, there is a need within the Chinese communities interested in Africa. But among the Africans, again, the Africans have been on the margin. As we pointed out earlier, in most places, Africans are, they're still on the margin. Sometimes they don't have the right papers and all
Yeah,
stuff, right?
it's difficult for you to move to another country and establish yourself if you're from Africa. Do you think that how much of that is the fault of the African governments? Do you think the African governments could be doing more to support their people who go abroad? Do you think that?
No, I don't think it's it can be entirely blamed on the African government. I mean, this is it's a globalization. It's a globalization era. There should be free movement of goods, free movement of things. If I'm African, if I want to open a bank account any place, if let's say I establish a company or I establish a supply or whatever from here, then I want to open a bank account in Hong Kong. I am gonna be asked crazy stuff. Even me myself, I was asked to bring my father's birth certificate. My father who died when I was only a little boy, right? And somebody I don't even know, right? I was asked to bring my father's business. This is a bank. The bank
Are you
was
serious?
asked- Yes.
Did you produced it? Did you?
How can I couldn't open it. My father's birthday, and they asked me to prove the address that I lived in 1995 or something like that. The address that I was in 1995. They asked me, because that's the one on my birth certificate. They asked me to prove by a letter that's 3 months old. 3 months old, and I've been here for 5 years, and they asked me for a letter that's 3 months old that was sent to that address that proves that this is, and why I even asked for my birth certificate. So these are systemic, very structured things that makes it difficult. So I can't keep blaming African governments and all this stuff. It's a problem of just the entire these countries as a whole. It's like a huge conspiracy. Like, okay, how
Asian countries in general conspire to lock Africans out of the system, the financial system, the social system.
It's also with this. Yeah, it's not only them. Even the Europeans. It's just the same thing, right? They make it harder. So the world is so interconnected. So if we don't participate in that interconnectivity, then we suffer because it's a flow of things. So the things can. So
that sparks a question in my mind. Participate in the interconnectivity or separate from it. There's 1 billion black people in the world.
There is a
need
billion
to
black people,
participate or perform your own system.
But
What do you
because
think?
of the colonial era, certain relations, a certain path have established already. You can't believe that even today, so-called francophone countries, they are paying tax to France.
Someone told me that when you put your money in the bank in a francophone African country, it belongs to France.
Yeah.
And you take it out of the bank at interest.
So this is a structure.
Which is
This is a
insane.
structure that was been established through the colonial era, right?
Yeah.
This cannot be overdone. Even if we say, oh, let's come together only Africans, it's gonna take a process because there are things that it has to go through France and come back to. It starts in Africa, in the same village. It goes to France, process it, and these relations are already established. Like, these are very exploitative relations, but we can't just say, oh, cut like that. We need a much more strategic exit plan if we're gonna have to do something only for Africans. Like, how can we be able to work together as Africans? I personally believe that Africans need to create their own markets. Manufacturing industry, we need to manufacture things. I mean, China we need to manufacture things. We need to do things on our own. But the way the relations are so far, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to unless we it's gonna take time.
Now you mentioned something a moment ago about use the word barriers.
Yeah.
There are barriers that are in place, numerous barriers that are in place for you if you come from Africa and you move to a different country and you just want to be a part of mainstream life. Now for African Americans, it seems like from Western countries, it's significantly easier. Do you think that there's any way that we could use what we have to say, all right, if you guys connect with us, then we can kind of relax those barriers for you? Is there any way that could possibly happen as you see it, especially here in Hong Kong?
Yeah, well, definitely there are many ways that's possible, right? I will give you examples. I've been working at Goldman Sachs, right? It's an investment bank.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, and there are African Americans there who have been great to me in the sense that so I could overcome a lot of things. They've been mentoring me.
Like telling you, they put you up on the game.
Yeah, they have had some resources that I was never exposed to. And me on the other end, I never had that stuff. But they are there. I'm like, let's fill you in. This is.
And that's for us. We feel like I think in Africa it might not be the same. It's not based on color.
Yeah.
But for me, especially if I'm in white corporate America, you're a black man, I'm a black man. I know that your job is probably not really safe, and I have a responsibility to kind of like at least put you in the know. There should be a kind of like a connection, intercooperation between you and I.
Yeah.
So you saw that.
That's the thing, right? So I think those things help. Those are things that are very good to be able to to reach out. And of course, the first thing is try to understand what are the barriers that people are facing. Some of the things are just so easy like that to solve.
Yeah. Okay.
There are certain things that I can easily solve for other people. There are certain things that other people can easily just in a click they can easily be able to address. But these also take people time to actually reach out and have a conversation. A much more honest conversation on what's up, what's going on. People can read up too, right? Like what's going on. I think that will help. I think those connections will help into bring legitimacy to a person. Like for example, people are just simply racist, right? They just think because you're African, then you come from the jungle, that means you don't have any legitimacy that to do anything. So if as an African American, you think the people around you they think you're a legitimate person, you can rebrand somebody else. Like there's some other passionate young man who's African there. And because of the country he's coming from, or because of A, B, and C, he can make the same thing. That's a branch, right? So as an African, I'm like, how can we associate and rebrand here? And then you can be able to appeal to that. And then when you get there, and then you can begin to, of course, transform the system from inside.
Rebranding, that's when I'm talking about something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like let's say if it's under my passport, it's easy for me to establish a business here.
Yeah.
And so if you're from out, like you see a lot of African businessmen here and also across the border in Guangzhou.
Yeah.
Who've been living in some place illegally for 10 years or 20 years.
Yeah.
And who there might be more barriers in place. Can I say, I can work legitimately within the system, move to the system. And then you can also maybe it might be my face and my name on the license, but actually you're running the business. Go ahead, take it. I'm not mad. Go ahead, do it. Give me a little profit. But that will help you and it also benefit me.
Well, I mean, for people, as you are saying, there are people who are just coming here, right?
Yeah.
And then there are people who already have been here and have been struggling.
Yeah.
Those are different groups, right? So, of course, the starting point is just how can we catch those who are coming here? Just give them a little mentorship, right? And try to also engage them within the corporate world. So, there's a lot of Africans
with your organization.
Even if they get visas and stuff, they are working in construction. Because that's where the network is. That's where they have a network. They are working construction, right? But that's just killing yourself, especially in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
It's just killing yourself. there are other jobs that a person could be doing, and they have qualifications in those jobs, right? But people don't have that network. But if you can be able to have been introduced into those other networks, you will be amazed how much it could transform things. It's just things like that can actually, of course, now that's for the new guys. Whatever for those that have been here for a longer period of time, right? Of course, that would be tricky. That let's say somebody has not been legal for
10 years at
for
least,
10
5
years,
years at
right?
least, yeah.
For 10 years, then if that person has to be, within that country, it's not gonna be easy. Especially let's say if it's let's say an African American, how can an African American be able to help in that sense? I think that one, I mean, I don't think those are many of the cases, but usually conversations where people can explore more opportunities. It could be, somebody can move from China, let's say they're in China. Why can't they go find a teaching job in Thailand? You think by moving to Thailand, it's going to help them to re-establish themselves? If I know somebody there, I could try to help. But I've been helping people, that's what I was saying, and I've been helping people to go to different places. Some of them have been stuck here. I think the previous guy I was working with, been stuck here for 15 years.
Yeah.
And I just
How did
recently
you
helped him
help
to find a job in Vietnam.
So he was living here illegally for 15 years.
Yeah, supposedly, yeah.
And he just went to Vietnam directly.
Yes, I had to work with the Vietnamese government and the other people in Vietnam, to try and establish.
And they did this with the Africa Center.
I did this as a personally. I usually do these things, but now we are putting all these things into the Africa Center. Like,
What kind of things do you have? The Africa Center is comprised of exactly what?
I mean, we do a couple of things. Right? We do book clubs. We do, we do lectures. We do some tours and some meetings and to discuss things. One of the things that I'm excited about, I mean, the book club has been pretty successful. We are on our 5th book now. We started this year. The first book was Nervous Conditions, Cecilia Ngarembo, a Zimbabwean author. The second one was Things Fall Apart, Chinua Achebe, Nigeria. And then we went to Kenya, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, a grain of wheat, and then now we are on Americana. No, we also did Trevor Noah's Born a Crime, and then now we are doing Americana by Chimamanda Adichie. So that's on the book club side. It's been exciting. People have been.
And what kind of people usually show up to your book club?
It's been, of course, primarily the African diaspora. But again, a lot of local. Mostly ladies, I don't know why. A lot of local Hong Kong women and white girls mostly. That has been the dominant group. But what I'm excited about right now, what we're doing, which also speaks into what is happening now, is the African Kids Club.
Okay,
So it's a resource center, and that for kids of African descent. I mean,
is it also at close to here?
Yes, that one we meet in we book places in hotels, and so we shift places because it's just a meeting once a month. Once a month, half a day. This time we're in hotel A, the next time we're in hotel B, the next time we're using a co-working space, and have the activities for the kids, that can help them to build a community and be able to understand identity and learn about African things.
Right. So you were saying like the kids who are maybe they have one or maybe both parents who are from Africa.
Yes.
And they're growing up here, and it's kind of rough for them.
Yes. They don't, as long as they are black, the parents can be from Panama or from Brazil or from, it's rough. But what makes it rougher is again the issue of.
Why is it rough in the first place?
Why is it rough? Because some of the parents don't have sexy jobs, so they send their kids into public schools. And these are schools, government schools. These are schools with everyone there, and most of the kids are all Chinese, and then maybe the only one mixed child. It's a homicide. That one is a homicide, sending your child to that school.
You find there's a lot of fights that the kids get into?
I mean, it's not like fights, it's just,
teasing, bullying.
There's a lot of bullying in terms of their kids' ethnicity. The kid it struggles a lot. It's going to struggle with their identity. Who am I? Should I be straightening my hair? What should I do? It's tough. But if they are rich, they send their kids to the international school.
Then it's fine.
It's fine, totally fine. International schools, but they are so expensive. What you pay, what, $200,000 a semester, or whatever it is. You know, so that they're so expensive. So there is a need for that. So, but again, all the other kids who are really think international schools beyond identity is the idea of knowledge, right? How can I understand things on Africa? They are always faced with people like Ebola, you know, or AIDS, or wars and conflict. But you know, so we're like, you know what? We'll bring these kids. Every time we have a meetup, we spotlight one African, one issue that's in Africa. So today we focus on Ebola. Then we discuss it. You know, give them the content first. Discuss. And then for them to engage, because we are also teaching them leadership skills and presentation skills, they go to small groups, make a pitch, like explain what the problem is, what kind of solution could they offer. So they can already start being engaged when they read the news, they can understand what exactly, how do you understand the conflict in Congo, how do you understand this? And then when they go meet all those people who always ask them about Africa, now they can talk confidently. So it's a whole lot of things which sort of like touch that holistic experience of the African child.
So what kind of response have you gotten from the kids? Is it something that they're receptive to learning, or is it something
the kids have been.
You mentioned before that like the kids, their identity is very Hong Kongese, very Asian, because they were born here and they might not even know about.
They don't know anything about Africa.
Side. Yeah.
And it's harder because they always have to prove to the people that they don't know anything about Africa. And that's almost every conversation. Every conversation they have, the kid is like, oh, where are you from? And then they're like, oh, you know, my mother here, my father Ghana, and then they're gonna ask Ghana things, right?
Yeah.
Africa things, and they don't know. So if every conversation ends by saying no, I don't know anything, I think that's a good place. You know, I think they should take ownership. Like, you know what? Instead of you just trying to say, I don't know. Why don't we say? Why don't we give you the knowledge now? And you also become an agent of change. You know, they can be able to teach the people. You know, because you have access to those young people. So like, okay, take ownership now. Take ownership of it. You know, I'm sure you don't have any place to be learning this, but now you can learn. I have interacted with a number of kids, and I think they've been positive, and they've really been appreciating that finally they can be able to talk these things out and discuss. You know, because they can't discuss with their mother. You know, most of them, especially girls, right? They can't discuss with their mother. You know, the boys are just gonna form a little clique. You know, which is not always positive. But it's good to have a click, but that might turn into something else, you know? Yeah, a little gap. But for the girls, okay, you want to discuss your mother. Your mother doesn't understand anything. You know, mother was born in Hong Kong. She probably had never been to Singapore. Right? How is that going to be any productive discussion?
So what age group normally are the kids that you are dealing with?
Generally we're targeting from 5 to 17.
Okay.
But you know, it's usually around somewhere around 13, 14.
Okay. All right. Since you've been in Hong Kong, like, thanks for sharing that. Since you've been here, what other jobs have you seen Black people engaged in since you've been here? Kinds of work, kinds of business.
Well, you know, this is the old way of doing trading in the sense of, you know, buying phones and selling them. But that business is running out. You know, we have e-commerce now. You know, we don't. You know, even if I'm in the middle of a village in Africa, I can still order my things on Alibaba.
So you need to get that, or you need
no,
to?
No, okay. Yeah, you know, I still probably need to order some things and then be able to sell those things elsewhere. So that business is dying. A lot of people have been, of course, in construction, and that again is not it's not healthy.
Plans for the future. What else have you got going on the periphery of that, or just anything?
Okay. I work in finance, but it's with the Africa Center. I'm gonna be continuing my vision and go to rebrand Blackness. Yeah, I'm gonna be rebranding Blackness here, and I'm gonna be pretty aggressive in that. Like, I'm gonna put money in it if I can put money. If I can put my own money, I'll put my own money, because I know how critical this movement is. If I miss this opportunity, you know, I would regret. 50 years later. Look at how,
this is a tremendous opportunity that you have the world reshaping itself right now.
Yes, the world is reshaping itself. The earlier, world order is transforming. It's no more that earlier order. Now things are changing. With the center, which is not, there's no more like that. Euro American Center now. It's
Mm-hmm.
I think
I think it's actually center's moving over here.
yeah. So I'm gonna do anything. I'm gonna do anything. I do understand. I'm aware of my privileges. I'm aware of the opportunities. I'm given platforms to speak. And I have a lot of people who admire me. So I think I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that in every way I can. In rebranding, why I'm rebranding, I'm gonna get any African or black person I can get through in any place I can. That's the way we're gonna need to do this.
I like what you just
Yeah.
said. Okay, I like that a lot. Okay. All right. Any final thoughts, comments, anything else you want to share with Black Asia Magazine? Anything else?
Yeah, I think this is a good initiative. I love this Black Asia Magazine. Hope more people can write, more people can read more stories. I want to hear more stories. More inspiring stories. And hear testimonies of black people doing stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Black Asia Magazine. Cut.
Yeah.